With Judd Trump crashing out the tournament and a rampant Ronnie O'Sullivan, it's now time to take a look at the last 16 of the Saudi Arabia Masters. Hello guys, welcome to Daddy and the Don Sports. My name's Phil, and in today's video we're going to take a look at the last 16 draw and bring you my latest prediction now that the world number one is out of the tournament. So with 12 of the seeds making it to the last 16, we will just go through the 4 that have crashed out, and the headline is Judd Trump, defending champion, world number one, lost to Oliver Lyons. Great for Lyons, but no one really saw that one coming. John Higgins lost to Elliot Slesser. I believe it's the first time he's ever lost to him. Some might say it's been on the cards for John, but he normally does get through against this calibre of opponent. Stuart Bingham got the better of Zangander, and Zangander does have a habit of going out early in the major tournaments. Very consistent player normally, but he's been crashing out really early in big tournaments, and that poor form has continued here. And finally, you had Mark Allen. Now, I thought it would be Dave Gilbert that knocked him out. Obviously, Dave Gilbert went out to Bingyu in the round before, but you could see this coming a mile off. His form's fallen off a cliff, and it's continued in this tournament. So what does that mean for the rest of the tournament? We'll start off in the top half of the draw, and you've got Oliver Lyons versus Ali Carter. This game is massive for both players, for slightly different reasons. Oliver Lyons, the ranking points that are on offer here, he's guaranteed 30,000 at this stage. He wins this, he gets a minimum of 50,000 and will almost certainly be in the top 64 at the next ranking points update. Ali Carter, if he betters Chris Welim in this tournament, he moves into the top 16 where he's currently number 17. So this is massive for both players. I do think although the head-to-heads were quite mixed, it was more in favour of Carter, but these games were a few years ago. So there's no recent form to go on, but I do think Ali Carter has been in a little purple patch of form recently, and I think he'll have enough to get the job done here over Oliver Lyons. Neil Robertson versus Mark Selby next, both former world champions. Both had a terrible world championship campaign this year, but I'd say Selby has started the season a little bit better than Neil Robertson has. Robertson does dip in and out of form, but he has done well over the last 2 seasons to get back into the top 16. I do think with that recent form, Selby will just have enough to get the job done here. Elliot Slesser versus Stuart Bingham, both unseeded, both caused upsets in the previous round, and both will see this as a fantastic opportunity to advance, maybe get to the semi-finals and be knocking on the door of the top 16. I think Bingham, I fancied to get this far. Slesser, I didn't. But I think Bingham has been in a good run of form recently, and I think he will continue this and he will get the better of Slesser on this occasion. Shawn Murphy and Mark Williams next, completing the bottom half of the draw. And Shawn Murphy's actually the favourite for this one. I don't know how. I think he's been terrible this season and the back end of last season. I know he won the Masters, but that aside, I thought he was poor. I think he's been spending too much time in the commentary booth, not enough time on the practice table. And just like with Mark Allen, it's creeping into his game. He's tried defending it on social media. I'll see a few YouTube shorts of him defending it, but I'm not buying any of it. Needs to knuckle down, concentrate on his snooker. Mark Williams, an absolute grinder. He will get the job done and knock out a below par Shawn Murphy. So moving into the bottom half of the draw now, when you've got Kiron Wilson versus CJ. I've been against Wilson since the World Championships. Obviously crashed out in the first round. That's not the first person that's done that. So I think I've probably been a bit too harsh on him with some of my predictions. And he's doing a good job at proving me wrong in a lot of the tournaments since. Can't ignore his recent form. Obviously won last week, so I think he is in good enough form. CJ won't be an easy opponent, but he will have enough to advance in this one. Bingyu versus Ronnie O'Sullivan next, and I got this completely wrong. I predicted both men to go out in the previous round, so I had Gilbert and O'Connor meeting at this stage, but Bingyu, he's been the underdog in all 5 games so far and will be in this 6th game. Done fantastically well, knocked out some big names. Even Marco threw in the first round. He was the underdog in that game. O'Sullivan, I Didn't think he'd beat O'Connor. Proved me wrong. Wasted no time at all. 5-0, got the job done. And I think as much as the Bingyu fairy tale, I'd like to see it continue. It's about world number 107 at the moment. He's definitely going to move up to at least 70, 75 after this. So good tournament for him. And Ronnie O'Sullivan needs this. He needs these ranking points because he's defending, I think, 500,000 ranking points come off this year. So he needs to go far in these big ones. And this is unofficially the 4th major now. Prize money that's on offer. He needs to get to at least the semi-final to try and defend some of these points. And I think he will come through this fairly easy and advance to the quarterfinals. Ding Junhui versus Barry Hawkins next, and I think this could be the tie of the round, to be fair. Not because of their individual talent, but because of how close I feel the game will be. I think they're very evenly matched. It's not going to be anything fancy in here. Both very steady, consistent players. And I think with Ding, some might say he's boring, but I think he's just very consistent. Doesn't win a lot of tournaments, but gets to the quarterfinals and semi-finals in so many. He just accumulates ranking points, lives in the top 10, and I think he will just edge this. It'll probably go to a deciding 11th frame, so I think he will win this one 6-5 and advance to the quarterfinals. And last but not least, you've got Welim versus Tong. And some would say this was a tied round, but I think this is going to be one-sided. I think Xiao's got his number, absolutely pantsed him at the World Championships, and I don't see any different narrative happening here. I think it'd be very comfortable. And unfortunately for Welim, because he did do so well at the Worlds until he went out to today's opponent, he's going to drop out of the top 16 unless Ali Carter goes out as well. But it's unfortunate. But it won't be by too many points, and I'm sure he'll have an opportunity to get back into the 16 before the end of the year. But on this occasion, it's Tong comfortably through to the quarterfinals. So this is what my quarterfinal lineup will look like. I've probably got half of them wrong, but we'll do a prediction just for the sake of it anyway. I think Selby will beat Ali Carter, but as I said, Carter gets a place in the top 16 off the back of it. Bingham's run comes to an end. Mark Williams advances there. I think Kiron Wilson, it will be classed as an upset, but I think he's in much better form than Ronnie O'Sullivan. And I think Ding versus Xiao, although it will be billed as a big game, potential fireworks, I think it could be one-sided again. I think Xiao would just steamroller him in this one. And I think Selby just outgrinds Mark Williams to advance to the final, where I'm going to say he's going to face Tong. Kiron Wilson beat him last week. I think he gets revenge here, and then he just is too good for Mark Selby in the final. So I'm going to say Tong wins another big event, another 500,000 ranking points, and it'll be Tong that is your Saudi Arabia Masters 2025 champion. So that was my prediction for the Saudi Arabia Masters. Please let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of the selections in this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we will catch you on the next video.